pudding. And where the hell is it?
A funny thing happened to me on my way to invading Earth. I am your worst nightmare. Believe that.
What's up, George? What's going on tonight in the House of Craze?
In the House of Craze tonight, we have a special guest, Mr. Paul Hayden, a.k.a. Hades of ASAPComicsUK.com. He also has something called AnyOneWorld.com, ASAPMinis.com. The man is busy. We're going to be talking to him. And then it's the end of the year special, so we're going to be talking about lessons learned today. So check it out.
You're going to learn today. Let's get it.
The only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze Podcast. I am your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with
George the Greba Medina. What's happening, Sam? What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. This is the end of year special. It's December 31st. So happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy old year going into the new year. Next year, we're going to be talking a lot about, what we've learned this year. And we're also going to have a special guest, Mr. Paul Hades, on the show from the UK. So it's probably already New Year out there since they're about 5 or 6 hours ahead of us. But yeah, man, what's going on with you, Sammy? What you got going on, dog?
What's going on? I'm waiting for, when is this here? I don't even know. So what's going on is it's fulfilling the campaign for Forbidden.
These pre-recorded shows get us all the time.
All the time, bros. All the time. It's cray. Yeah, so Forbidden. That's not what I want. Get out of here.
Forbidden.
Basically, I sent everything to the printers. I'm getting ready to fulfill everything. So I'm pretty excited about it. Pretty stoked.
Oh, yeah. Because so the campaign ended the 1st. They take about a week, right, to get everything gathered.
Yeah.
And then another week before you get it.
Yep.
So by now, some of the stuff should have been going. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but should be out, hopefully, as long as there aren't any delays.
Yeah.
People should be getting it, early next year or sometime in January, right?
So sometimes it all depends because I sent it to the printers and everything was confirmed received, but I haven't seen production, so they could be delayed, backed up. Right. I don't know, but I think it was like the day after the campaign. Even though I didn't receive the funds yet, I sent it out. That's just me being legit. Got to take care of my supporters. The couple of people that backed me. Got to take care of them. But but we also got I'm prepping for the launch of.
You got to go to Indie News. You got to go to Indie News for this.
I forgot we have Indie News, don't we? I got to find it. It's been a while since I used all these mechanisms. I know, right? What the hell?
And live all the time.
Yes, it's your mess, topics, yes. I can't even see where it is anymore. What the hell? Sponsors. Yes. Oh, there it is. In other news.
Yeah, baby. Let us know what's going on in Indie News.
Other news. Indie News. There's an alien in my toilet. Yes. Hilarious and endearing. It's absolutely hysterical. it's coming back. Duty is coming back, and I'm excited about it. It's going to be a fun campaign. A lot of things, new things. I get to finish what I intended, and I started, and so I'm excited about it.
Nice. Yes. So Duty from Uranus is coming back. There's an Alien in My Toilet is making a return. So if you haven't yet, make sure you go and sign up for the pre-launch page so that you can get notified when the campaign goes live on February 15th.
Yes.
That is when it is going live. This one's going to be not for the full 30, right? It's going to
21
be
days, 3 weeks.
21-day campaign.
Yes. Yeah. I no longer have the stamina for 30 days. It's too painful. It's too long of a process. I'm doing just 21 days, and I'm hoping that I actually feel good about this campaign. I'm having fun designing the page. I'm just about done with the page. I got some really cool things in the pipeline for this. A lot of educational value to this campaign. So I'm really targeting educators. I'm targeting retailers. I got a retail bundle. It's even this deal is sweet, so $10 less than the last retail bundle. So this is going to be dope. And so, yeah, I'm trying to get it. So, anybody there's probably 1,000 people. When I was looking at all the photos, there's about 1,000 people that have this in my toilet, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, whether it's the trade paperback from back in the days. Right. And I couldn't believe how many photos of people have this series. Yeah. So the good thing about bringing Duty back from the dead is I get to finish the trading card game that I started. I get to enhance the educational value. So every comic book has 4 pages of trivia, science trivia, duty-related trivia, and puzzles, and a lot of stuff to influence education and learning with kids. And it's basically making education fun again. And so this campaign is going to be dope.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Don't forget, so February 15th is when the campaign goes live. It's going to go for 3 weeks, so it should end about, I don't know, I think the second week in March, it is when it should end.
Yes.
It's a 3-week campaign. So, it's gonna be cool. The cool thing is that, with this trading card game, that's gonna be something different and something fun for Duty fans out there. So if they have the book, even if you have the book, there are some new things that are going to be brought into the fold and into the universe of There's an Alien in My Toilet. So that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm currently designing Volume 2 trading card set. So there's going to be at least 12 volumes of trading cards. So Volume 1 is there are 9 in the actual set, but there are 3 additional bonus cards that you can get through the stretch goals, so you can make it a 13-piece set. Then and then the second volume will be later on in the year. I'm working on that, and the board game for the game is going to be out at the end of the year in next year. And so basically the whole purpose is getting Duty back to Uranus and get it back in there. Don't you drop that. Don't you drop that, Duty.
Jesus. Holy crap.
But if we're going to talk in science terms, Uranus. And getting him back home, and so there's a power and a fuel portion of the cards, and based on when you roll the dice and where you land and who you go up against will determine whether or not you have enough power to beat the person and enough fuel to get to home, but you're able to buy fuel, you're able to buy power. So there's a lot of things that currently I'm still designing the game and writing the rules and all that stuff for the gameplay. But I'm trying to make it as simple for even the kids to understand, but I also have to keep in mind that the kids are smart enough to build these extravagant Legos, so I don't want to try to undersell them or assume that they don't have the mental capacity, because the kids today are smart.
What's the age group? Like, what are you looking at? What's the target age?
As young as 4, and but it's all ages. So the comic book is all ages. The gameplay is same thing with Dungeons and Dragons. I'm hoping that it'll be generational, I'm hoping that families can do it together. My goal is that, bring families at home. Your families are stuck at home, and the lockdowns keep going up and down, right? So here's an opportunity to have fun, and so you can play with your buddies if you're a gamer. Boom. The eventual goal will be for you to be able to design your own characters. But we're not there yet. We're still in the developmental stage, in the early stages of it. The cards will also enhance. So these cards are the vintage cards. But as the cards go down the future, you're going to see they're going to be modified, stylized cards. It's going to be, more trendy.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's cool, man. That's like it's almost like I guess a combination of what they do with like you said, Dungeons and Dragons, and say, I don't know, any board game that you might have played with your family at home, you know, whether it's Chutes and Ladders or something like that, I guess is what you're trying to build. So is it like, how many players are you planning? Like, how many players can play the game at once? Do you have any idea? Like,
I'm still figuring it out, because right now there's only 13 in the first set. So as it builds out, so when the actual board is done, and I should have 3 additional volumes for it. So I'm hoping anywhere between 6 or more people can play. Just like Monopoly, all depends. Right. So again, I'm still developing it, and I'm taking suggestions because so if you have ideas, still in the developmental stage. But again, there's gonna be a board game for it. It's gonna be rolling of the dice. It's going to be the cards. It's gonna be a rule book. But trying to make it fun and simple.
And that's gonna be for this campaign. You're gonna have that stuff.
The board is not gonna be ready for this campaign.
No. Okay.
It'll be in the fall. The cards are these are the cards to get you to that. The rule book will come out when the board game comes out. So that's all on the development. So this can't, so you as the potential Duty fan, are going to be in at the beginning of the entire development. So you will determine the success of it, and I'm excited about this. In the early ages, the beginning of Duty, we had a lot of fanfare and a lot of press around it, and I'm hoping to reimagine that experience again, and I'm hoping to bring Duty to this. He's been what, at least 11, 12 years in the catacombs, collecting dust. Yeah. So I'm bringing them back, and I have some new designs coming up. Working on some really cool stuff.
Nice. So make sure that you guys hit the link on the show notes down below, so you can go follow the page. Make sure you are following it so you can get notified when the campaign goes live. But right now, the pre-launch campaign is live, and then next week on January 4th, then I will have the pre-launch page for the Adventures of Wonder Duck going live. So the Adventures of Wonder Duck pre-launch page will be out on January 4th. So that's what's coming up, and then I'll have more word on that, within the next few weeks. Yeah, I have some time for that. But yeah, Duty is coming. There's the Adventures of Wonder Duck. We also have in the summer, we're gonna have the crazies are going to come back in the summer, and then in the fall it'll be about Forbidden.
Yes.
And so so we have that going on. So there's a lot of stuff happening.
So now, 2 things might happen. The based on the reaction to this campaign for Duty, Forbidden might be replaced by Duty in the fall. Forbidden might just go straight to retailers. I might just bypass crowdfunding and just go straight to retailers with the graphic novel and just run Duty.
Yeah, cool. So you know what? That's a perfect segue to our next.
What have you learned?
Yes. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk it. I feel.
It's time for your medicine.
Lesson 2021 objectives, lessons learned, summary of tasks, indie comics crowdfunding. Get ASO.
All right. Get ASO. Well, listen, it's a new year as of tomorrow, right? This is the last Friday of the year. So happy New Year, everyone. But there were some things in 2021 that we obviously, were able to accomplish. And there are things that we learned from 2021. It's funny because 2020 was just a ridiculously hard year. It was a terrible year. And before we can even get, not that we'll ever get over it, but before we can adjust to what happened after 2020, boom, 2022 is here. It's like 2021 just got squeezed in, and here we are now, 2022. But we did manage to, put out some product in 2021. And we did manage to, do a couple of a few crowdfunding campaigns. So what did we learn this year, Sam? You made a very good point about depending on how things go, by the fall, Forbidden may just go right into retailers versus putting yourself through another 30-day campaign.
Yeah.
Right? So what were some of the things that we learned in 2021? Let's talk about it.
I learned that I'm still an underdog. I'm still Rocky trying to fight my way up to the top.
I think part of that too is learning that crowdfunding campaign isn't as easy as some of these guys make it look when they're making, $10, $20, $30, $40,000 on 30-day campaigns. It's not an easy task. Don't let people fool you. It is not an easy task.
It is not.
And building that fan base is just as hard as it was. Well, actually, it might even be harder now than it was back in, the early 2000s or even the 2010s. We were younger and more energetic and ready to go out there. I feel like things have changed so drastically, man, with the internet.
Yes.
And now, is it just because, we're Generation X and, we navigate differently and we're not millennials or Generation Y or Z or whatever the hell generation we're up to, that is making it difficult? What do you think? I mean, it's hard to say.
I think out of sight, out of mind. I think that for me, I think what it is I didn't realize how difficult it would be for the comeback because the come up was easier. Mm-hmm. When we first started, the come up felt like it was a breeze. It was like, yo, we're popping. And then we, disappear and the come back. It's like, and now, you know what it is? You're coming up and we were throwing the parties. We were like the host. We were throwing the party because we were doing everything first, and that was what was fun about it. Now we're coming up. We're the last. We're on that line to get into the club, but we're 3 blocks down trying to get into a club that only can hold 1,000 people, but there's 5,000 people online and we're number 5,000, right? Yeah. So I think that's how it feels. And I think the difference is the gameplay has changed. Attention span has changed. Trends have changed, and they constantly change every day. There's so much noise out there that you don't know where to put your focus on. So everyone's doing piece by piece by piece. There's no 100%. It's the movie theater syndrome. The movie theater is the experience. There is no cell phone. There is no chatter. It's focus, enjoy, engage in the experience, right? There's no movie theater, so everyone can pick and choose. Oh, I'm gonna watch this. I'll put it on pause. I'll come back to it later. Oh, you know what? I'll binge watch. I'm cooking while I'm listening to it while I'm cooking. So you're really not enjoying it. You're not getting it. You have to rewind. Well, I didn't catch that. Oh, what was that? And so I think because of that, the attention span is so limited. You have to figure out. What I've learned is don't put all your eggs in one basket. The biggest lesson I learned was you got to be able to change on a drop of a dime because the world is changing and everything's about timing, right? What I learned with Forbidden, it's about, timing, and so for me, it's like I'm looking for optimal return in my investment. And so I have to be able to understand trends and adjust with the trends, not be a trend chaser, but adjust with the trends.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that a lot of what I learned this year as well is that we have to navigate in this space similar to the way the big guys do it, right? Marvel doesn't put out a story, this year that they didn't plan for like a year in advance.
Yep.
Like they plan things, and I remember growing up, and I remember like reading some of these things where like, they would have these writing meetings, a year before the book actually came out, and all this planning, and same thing with their movies now. They do the same thing. I think a lot of that, us indies, we are about the moment. We are about, I created this book. I'm going to put this book out tomorrow. I created it yesterday. I'm going to put it out tomorrow. I'll have those 2 days and people are going to love it. And I think that when we were younger, coming up in the game, there was a lot less, or maybe we weren't aware of how much competition there really was because the world was so big. With social media, the world is small, man. We know what everybody is doing. We can see what everybody is doing. And when you go into a medium or into a field or into a platform like Kickstarter, you realize how much shit there's out there. Pardon my French. Yeah. And when I say shit, I don't mean like trash. I mean just stuff. Like there is just so many things and there's so many options for people. So that's why the preparation, and for me, I think preparation is what I learned the most. You have to prepare in advance. As an indie, it's chess, not checkers now. We got to play this game like it's chess. Moves ahead. If we're planning something for May, we're doing it now so that stuff is just, all right, now we're just putting it out. And I think you still have to be able to adapt, right? Because you can't just be set in your ways. You have to be able to change with whatever's happening. But now the move's got to be like this. Yes. And it's so like, getting into a groove is hard. And then the other thing is, how easy was it to just meet fans at conventions and do what we had to do? 2021, we thought, okay, 2020, the pandemic, now things are over. We're going to be able to get back into conventions. Nope, that didn't happen. You know what I mean? The world didn't really open up.
And it's getting more and more, which is why I appreciate the state that I'm living in right now, because they're like, you know what? We're calling our own shots. We're not following this stuff, right? Because I want to go to events. I want to connect with people. I don't want to be sheltered. I don't want to, it's like, I've come, when I was a kid, I was very shy. Mm-hmm. My mom would throw parties, I'd stay in the room. If we went to a restaurant, I'd be the furthest away. If I was by myself, I sit all the way in the back. If I was in class, I was in the back of the class. I was always shy. And I learned that if you're going to navigate in life and succeed in life, you have to be able to network and socialize. Mm-hmm. So now I understand the value of socializing. I understand the value of camaraderie and idle chatting and banter and just enjoying somebody else's presence. You can't do that online. Everything is so impersonal.
But you can.
It's not the same.
No, I agree. It's not the same for us. Yeah. You understand that? And that's what I think that's the difference.
Oh, there are social communities online.
No. Yeah. No, what I'm saying is we're older guys, right? Mm-hmm. We like to be able to talk to each other when this is fine. This is what we've had to do. But how much more fun was it for us to be in studio together?
Amazing.
I was there for Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving. That was amazing, man, to be able to sit in there. That's us. The kids today, I feel like
they want to be in some virtual
behind the screen.
The reason why, I think a lot of the reason why is anxiety, right? So that it's a safe zone, right? It's an escape. It's a form of escapism. How do you?
My point is, before you say that, my point is saying what I was saying was that you're saying it can't be done. I
didn't say it can't be done. I just said it's not the same.
No, that's fine. But the kids are doing it. Like the kids are definitely. This is their way of social network. The social network. You know what I mean? Like this is their way of networking. Through a computer, through apps, through gaming, that's what makes them comfortable. We are almost like dinosaurs, but we have to adapt. And I know it's not easy for us and it's not comfortable for us, but it's almost like these are the cards we're dealt. We got to play with them. And
absolutely. And I'm realizing,
as much as possible.
And I think for me, the part is like, I'm not a big chatty Cathy, so that you don't see me going into these long-winded conversations online, right? Mm-hmm, I'll do one-liners and I'm gone, right? And right. But that's a big thing, right? People love the chatting and all that stuff, and they love to expose everything about themselves online, all that stuff. I am selfish in a way that I'm really out there trying to promote the stuff I've created and promote the other guy. That's it. That's what the show is to promote the other guy, but my books are to promote the characters. And so for me, I'm learning a lot about the social space because I'm realizing that while some platforms are making it harder for the creators, other platforms are making it easier, right? So so I think the biggest lesson is really where am I to put the most energy in, where am I going to get the biggest return on my investment, and what don't I want to do again in 2022.
Yeah.
Like 2022, there's a lot of things that we're going to do differently, especially with the show, because the grind is taxing. You know what I'm saying? So I think the biggest thing is understanding how to adapt in this new space, but yet still be able to have an authentic relationship with the people that support what you do. How do you do that, organically, in this world that's constantly trying to keep us behind doors? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm a creature that enjoys. I was just outside, the most beautiful sunset. I was taking photos, and I realized I wasn't the only one. My neighbors were all outside with their cameras taking photos of the sunset. It's the most gorgeous sunset I've ever seen in my life, right? That's an experience, right? So I sat there with the dogs. We sat in the yard. We're just staring at the sky. Then I pulled up my camera, took a picture, and I put the camera away, and you stood there just sitting up staring at the sky. So now, most kids today will go and just take a snapshot, save it for later, and put it on their social post, and that's it. But how about sit down and enjoy the moment? Have a glass of wine, have a glass of tea, have a cup of coffee, whatever it is, and enjoy the moment. If you have somebody with you, have that conversation with that person. So I don't know. So I think for me, it's like what I learned is don't make the same mistakes twice. Don't just assume that because you love what you do that everyone else is. And realize that, today's world, you got to work a lot harder than you did years ago.
Yeah. No, I definitely. I think for me, the lesson for me this year was preparation is key. Be prepared, be ready. Plan ahead. Make sure that everything is you cross your T's and dot your I's. Especially because I'm as like I said, man, I'm used to a different world and a different way of communicating, and because that's changed, I now have to take more time towards doing that. Like I have to, there's so many apps now, bro. Like there are so many things, whether it's Tumblr, whether it's it's
Reddit, it's everything.
Discord, it's Twitch.
I downloaded Discord, but it's just too much. Yeah, there's so much, just too much.
But that's what it seems. Yeah. But that's about that whole. You talk about the chatty thing.
Yeah.
That's all about chatting and all about talking and communicating in text and stuff like that. And it's like, call me. Let's talk on the phone. That doesn't exist, and it's like, not that it doesn't exist, but it's not there as much, and we have to adapt to that. And I think that's part of what some of the learning is. We can't just be,
I'll show you. I got a text from
to change in a sense.
I got a text from my sister, and it says, "You suck at texting," right? Because I don't respond fast. I usually pick up the phone and say, "Let's talk." I hate texting. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's even when I was working in the corporate environment, if I got a text from a superior, I picked up the phone. I said, "What's up?" Because what happens is it gets lost in translation. Sometimes there's a
lot of noise.
Someone puts an emphasis on a word that you're like, and then you just get the head junk. What did he mean by that? I don't want that stuff. So I'd rather hear from you directly. Hey, what's going on? It's like even like my brother-in-law. He hit me up. I got like 50 people that reached out to me that I haven't heard from in years, and I'm like, I don't like texting, So I'm like, I'll call you, or call me. Well, I hate when I get a text. It's like, can you talk? Why don't you just pick up the phone and ring and figure it and learn if I can talk? Anyway, that's another story. But yeah, so this year, 2022 is again, my plans are fluid. Nothing's set in stone. It's I will adapt to what's happening around the U.S. and what's happening with supporters and fans of the books. So I will adjust what I do based on the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2022 is a year of getting out there and doing more of the grind, man. Just making sure that we put our product out there as much as possible. Yep. It's about being not just present, but being relevant and staying relevant.
Yes.
The content's got to be created. So here we go, baby.
Yeah. So with that said, that was lessons learned. Let me get rid of that. And we're going to bring in our guest of the night. His name is Paul Hayden. He's in the waiting room. So before we do that, hey, why don't you promote your stuff through Cats to Craze? Sponsor an episode today.
Are you sitting at home wondering how you're going to spread the word about that Comic-Con that you're about to appear at, and you want to get some press? How about your first book signing? How do you spread the word so you can get an audience there? Or that first panel at a Comic-Con? Who do you talk to? Or even your first crowdfunding on Kickstarter or Indiegogo? The world is turning to podcasting to get the word out. Why not you? Sponsor an episode of Cast to Craze and start promoting yourself today.
All right, we're bringing in our guest now. Bang. All right, we got a logo.
Nice.
ASAP.
We got a person.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Nice to speak to you finally.
Yes.
No, finally. Now, we were texting before, and for everybody watching, this is Paul Hayden, aka Hades, ASAP Comic UK, ASAPComicsUK.com is the website. But we were talking, and so you're in, obviously, in the UK, across the pond,
yeah.
about 5 or 6 hours ahead of us. So it's very late in the UK. You have neighbors. So if you guys can't hear Paul, it's because he's being quiet. So it's not to wake up the neighbors. So he can't get too excited.
Nice.
I'll just start signing. It'll be okay. Don't worry.
Nice.
But welcome. Thank you so much, Paul, for coming on.
Thank
I know
you.
it's late out there. We won't keep you up too long. But this is Sam. And he is my co-host here on Catch the Craze. So tell us a little bit about who Paul Hayden is. Tell us about ASAP Comics, and then we'll go into all the other stuff that you have going on.
Cool. No, will do. So I started ASAP in the pandemic, basically. So the first time we got locked in, I'd lost my job previously, and I was a consultant. I was one of those in a suit, clean-shaven, hide your tattoos kind of person, good morning, sir, and all that kind of crap. And I lost that job, and then in the pandemic, I thought, well, I can't go anywhere. I've been a geek for a long time. I'd wanted to do a comic anyway, so I found out about this program through our government, and it helps people start a business. They give you a small amount of money. It's not a lot. It's literally, a small amount each week that'll cover like websites and stuff like that, just to get you started. So I did, and then we wrote Messiah, which was our first comic, and at the same time I worked with who's now editor-in-chief, L.A. Cunningham, and she co-wrote a book with me, an anthology, and it was all based in this one world. It was based around this event that hits London, and all the heroes fall, and this new breed of anti-heroes. So we launched with the book and the comic at the same time. I'm particularly proud of what happened with the book, because it's a flip book. So you've got part one, and then you flip it over, part two. So Amazon couldn't print it, even though they sent me a proof copy that said proof on it that proved that they could.
Nice. Why couldn't they print it?
Well, I don't know. So I have my own printers, and I love my printers. They're wonderful people, and the products that they put out are just wonderful. But I thought I'll still go through Amazon as well, print on demand, and so on and so forth. Got the proof copy. Yeah, I was happy with this. It's fine. So I approved it, and then they messaged me and went, we can't do this. And I was like, and I ended up on the phone with them. And I was like, I have a literal proof in my hand that says proof on the proof. Like, what? How many more times do you people need to hear me say proof?
Right.
Yeah. And they were like, no, we can't do it. And I just kind of went, oh, that's fine. So we didn't do it. And it became like this wicked, like, well, screw you, we'll do it ourselves then. So we just literally, that book just goes straight through our own website. And it became like a little bit of the anarchist in me just kind of went, yeah. So we put it out and we launched, and then some really weird but amazing things happened. So first of all, when we launched, a production company reached out to me and said, we've seen all your stuff for Messiah, and we've made this animated, like, slideshow trailer with dramatic music just for YouTube kind of thing. And they'd seen that, and then they were like, "We'd like to do something with you," and I was like, "Oh shit, okay." And then, long story short, was the actor suited a different character, part of the same world, but suited a different character. So I wrote a pilot episode, sent it to them, and said, "What do you think?" They said, "We completely agree. Do us 9 more episodes." So I wrote 9 more episodes. We signed a 2-year deal.
Nice.
For live action characters from my comics.
Wow! Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that was weird because it was like, at the same time as being cool, it was also like squeaky bum time. I was like, I've got to get this right. So,
oh man.
Yeah, and then at the same time that happened, I get a phone call from like this work coach that you have, and he was the guy who helped me get this money and start the business. And he says to me, "Weird thing." I'm like, "Okay." That was the start of the sentence. Like, not "Hello, how are you?" Weird thing. Your story of you starting this business has kind of hit some of the bosses. And I was like, "What do you mean it's hit some of the bosses?" And he's like, "Well, let's be fair. It's a bit of a strange thing to say that you want to start a business doing like comics." I was like, "Okay." And he said, "Well, yeah, so some of the bosses have heard about this and then someone wants to speak to you." And I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "I think it's like local news." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Nice, yeah. Can they ring you?" "Of course." 2 days later, I get a phone call from their head office in London. And it wasn't local news, it was national.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, again, squeaky bum time. So I spoke with them and they did this interview. And then they said, "Someone from the Daily Mail wants to speak to you," which is a national newspaper. So I was like, "Sure." So I spoke to them the next day. And then this guy phoned me 2 days later, and he worked for the film and media department of the head office that had rang me originally. They said, "We want to make a mini documentary thing, and we want to kind of turn you into a cartoon, little animation." And they have, and they've made it. And I was like, "What's going on? Like, what the is happening?"
That is awesome.
Wow.
It was so cool.
Surreal, man.
It's exactly surreal. Like, the thing that made me smile was they were like, "Well, if you've got artists, your artists can do the designs and send them to us." And I was like, "Yeah, but my artists don't work for free." And then they were like, "No, we've got budget." And they threw budget at me.
Oh man.
So I got I sent the thing to Sarah. She's one of our editors, but she's like triple threat, man. She's incredible. She's an amazing editor. She kicks my ass on the overuse of commas, let me tell you. She's a writer and a really fantastic one of that, and she's just a phenomenal artist.
Wow.
It's weird because obviously she's married to someone else, but it's like, if you ever leave me. And it's the same for like Laurie, who's LA Cunningham. She's like my partner in crime.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
where are you going? Toilet. Oh, sorry. Okay, hurry back.
Oh man.
So
Paul, this is an amazing story, dude. Like the fact the fact that things just went that way, it's pretty amazing. And I do want to get back to that, but we've had you on for a little bit. I just want people to know, like, where did you grow up? Like, did you always have like kind of like this entrepreneurial spirit in you? Like, tell us a little bit about you growing up as a kid in London or in England, or I don't know, where did you grow up?
Well, I'm from my dad's side. I'm from an Irish family, hence the flat cap. This hides a terrible monk patch just here. But, it's I come from an Irish family on my dad's side, as I say, and I'm very proud of my kind of Irish heritage. And I grew up just an absolute geek, thinner and paler than I am now. The beard hides a lot. And it was one of those things. Like, I got into comics when I was like 8.
Wow.
I'm 41 now.
Right. What were you reading when you were 8 years old? What were some of your favorite comics?
Well, the first comic I ever looked at, like, properly, because before like they were like British comics I'd looked at, like the Beano and the Dandy and all that kind of cutesy stuff. And like superhero comics. My older brother basically wanted me to bugger off and leave him alone. So handed me a comic and just kind of went, go away, you know. So I took this comic, it was a Batman comic, and it was, you know, I think it was a fairly throwaway story, but it was, you know, it was colourful, and you know, I was a kid, and you know, it was like a year or so later, and obviously Batman came out with Michael Keaton, and hooked. That's it. You know, I'd got all the toys, I'd got everything, you know, and then obviously the 80s were great, man, for cartoons and pop culture, you know.
What were you getting out there? What were some of the cartoons you guys were getting out there? Because I'm curious to see if we had different cartoons out here. What did you have out there in the 80s?
For me, it was Thundercats, He-Man,
okay,
G.I. Joe,
all right,
Mask, and I don't know why they changed it slightly, but over here they weren't Ninja Turtles; they were called Hero Turtles.
Really?
So it was Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, because apparently in the UK you can't say ninja because I don't know.
Why? Because in the early centuries they got beat up by ninjas? Why?
I don't know. It's like they just because they can't see them, they don't believe in them. That's what I think.
Nice.
But yeah, so it was for years I didn't understand, and then when I started to see some of the comics, like the imports, I was like, what's this ninja stuff about? You know, I knew they were martial artists, but you know, you kind of, and I think I was like 12, 13 before I knew. It was crazy. It was really weird. But yeah, so I loved that, and then I kind of switched to Marvel, kind of out of necessity, really. I know it sounds tough, but like Marvel comics were cheaper where I was. There used to be this guy who had like a market stall, and it was literally just your long boxes of just comics, and they were in no particular order. It was just, you know, you could tell he'd like emptied his loft out or something like that. It was one of those things.
Right.
But his Fantastic Four comics were like 50p, you know, so I could get more for my book, kind of thing, you know. It's So I started to collect the Fantastic Four, and then obviously a bit more of Spider-Man, and then there was I can't remember the issue number, but I got the second, you know, when Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Hulk, and Spider-Man became a Fantastic Four. The first time around. So that hooked me on like Ghost Rider, and then I started to lean back towards more darker stuff, you know. You know, and from then on it was just like hooked, and I would buy so many comics. Jesus Christ! When I met my ex-wife, one of the first things I said was like, because I've got 2 daughters and a son. But when I met her, I was like, I've got 2 daughters, and she was like, yeah, that doesn't bother me. And I was like, oh, good. I also have 10,000 comics. She just went, what the fuck?
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Do you still have all your comics? Okay, you do.
Fantastic.
Good.
There you go. You have a nice kitty.
For them, it's fine.
Yes. I did want to ask you about the relevance of your logo. Is it ASAP? What's it abbreviated for, and why the hourglass?
So ASAP is actually the first initials of my 3 children, and then me on the end. So my children are Amber, Sophie, Alfie, and then Paul on the end.
Nice.
And then when I was looking for something that was relevant for that, I didn't want to just go with like a clock or something, you know. Yeah. So I was looking at different things, and the hourglass was just something that I was like, do you know what, that's nice. It's one of those things where just before it runs out, you can flip it over and you're good to go again.
Right.
You know, it's like, it was one of those. And then when we launched our other platforms, I did these various scribbles and sent them to an artist friend of mine, and the stuff he gave me back for the Any One World and minis, I was just like, it was, you know, you go, in hindsight, it was such a good idea to go with the hourglass. Thank God for that. But yeah, it was like, my kids are everything to me, you know, and they're the reason I do what I do, and you know, they're the people who inspire me more than anyone in this world. So it was just like if you're doing something, you know, it's you know, I can do it with a hat on, but it's a tip of the hat to my own children. So you know,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's why for that. Yeah.
When did you start writing your own comics? I mean, you were a big comic book collector, comic book fan. When did you realize, you know what, I can do this? I kind of can, you know.
Probably, I reckon, right, 15, 16 was probably when I started. But that's when I'd got like properly cliched characters.
Yeah, right. Of course.
And in my head, these were the greatest things in the world. And it was like law, order, and justice. So there's three of them. It was like that kind of thing that I'd kind of churn out. And don't forget, it was the 90s, so lots of guns. Lots of like cable with 26 guns on his back. Yeah. So, something life felt when, he needs more guns. It was like that. And then I kind of stopped for a little bit. And then I wanted to concentrate on being a novelist.
Oh, okay.
And then I got sidetracked, believe it or not, by stand-up comedy, because I did that for 2.5, nearly 3 years.
Nice.
And then I kind of came back to it and went, oh, okay, shit. Comics again. So I kind of come full circle. But yeah, I've always done, if I can get creative with something, I'll always do it.
Nice. So what is Messiah?
Messiah was a character where I wanted to create a character that looked like crap. I know it sounds really daft, and give him a power that wasn't ideal, and give him something that was flawed and make him look a certain way. And then originally that was the character's name and going to be all the way. So, but as he evolved and as the issue kind of came out, we realized Messiah wasn't necessarily his name. It was the name of the project that gave him the abilities that he has. So it's to do with an organization, and they're called Level 8, and they will be with everything we have moving forward, they're going to be a big part of what we do. And they work, kind of in the shadows, and they're not good people. And so he was experimented on, and then he escaped, and when he escaped, some others managed to get out as well. And the first issue is literally him realizing that the life that he wanted and had's gone, and he doesn't want his powers, he doesn't want people to follow him, he doesn't want people around him. So he's basically pushing everyone away, and people are actually coming towards him instead. So it was one of them where it's like, you get the heroes and the flowing capes and the hands on the hips, and you go, yeah, they're cool. But I wanted to do a hero that kind of went, no, go away, leave me alone, please, bugger off. So yeah, that's where he came from. But I drew him years ago, but it didn't look as good as Kyle drew it,
Yeah. No, and going back to like what you were saying earlier about this company that was interested in working with you, so this, I mean, obviously we're pre-recording this, but this will air on the 31st, so Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
But where are you guys as far as that side of, your properties being, kind of developed into something else? Where are you guys there?
So, well, we're in 2022, we'll be releasing 3 more titles that follow the same universe. Okay. So we've already signed the artists up. So we have a new artist for Messiah. Not any bad reason. Kyle just prefers concept design and just designing characters and stuff like that. Yeah. So we have a new artist for Messiah. We have a comic called Dead of Night, which is night spelled Knight. It's late if I spell that wrong, sorry. And again, he's, it's the same universe. We will have a title called Sister Grimm, which is written by L.A. Cunningham. She really is such an absolutely wonderful writer. She is. And then there's OPSEC, which is written by Lem or David Howard. And again, he's a demon at writing. You could go, oh, we need a 22-page issue of something. Done. Like, how did that happen? I'm very lucky with the 3 people around me. Sorry.
That's awesome.
So, L.A. Cunningham, like I say, she was a person who was there right at the beginning, right when I was doodling stuff for Messiah and coming up with these ideas. She's not necessarily a comic book person, but I've made her into one. you know, she will forever not forgive me for that, I think. But she's, yeah, I couldn't be, like, ASAP wouldn't be what it is without her, without a shadow of a doubt. And then Sarah and Nem as well. It's like I say, the four of us together makes me so happy. You know?
That's awesome.
Nice.
No, that is awesome. You also have, I mean, you're busy. I mean, you have tons of stuff going on. You also have anyoneworld.com, and this is a creator-owned platform. So it's funny because Louis Cruz, we've had on the show, he actually has a story, and I'm assuming it's under this flagship, I think. So tell us a little bit about what anyoneworld.com is.
So when we started and we were doing the stuff with ASAP, we had people who were coming to us and going, oh, you know, we like what you guys are doing and we want to do stuff with you, and can we do something? And then they were people are going, I've got this idea, I've got this character, I've got this comic. And I'm a big advocate for, like, because I love the indies, you know. I've done podcasting myself for Comic Crusaders, and been very lucky to speak to indie creators in film and so on and so forth. But the big thing about indies for me is maintain your rights to your properties. And I said to a few people, like, I can't take your stuff. It's not fair. It's, you know, you've created it. I didn't. So what I did was I created the Anyone World, and it's primarily, we publish other people's stuff. We distribute it, we promote it, and we, you know, we look out for each other, and it's great. I really love the Anyone World. We have so much fun. And I was really lucky to start off with, because what we did is we launched it with Perspectives, which is where the book you probably know Louis from.
I've seen that, yeah.
And we did that for charity. So there's 16 writers in the book.
Wow.
And not one of them got paid, because no one got paid, because it was all for charity.
Yeah.
And it was for a foundation over here called the Dyspraxia Foundation. And most people think I mean dyslexia, and it's like, no, dyspraxia. And it's actually a condition that my son has. So it's really near and dear to my heart, and it's like it's cognitive. So it's like, it affects his balance, it affects like his radar's off, but also he has like sensory issues and stuff.
Like his equilibrium's off.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's like if you ask him to write on a straight line, he can't, and then he, like, holding a pen can hurt his hand, and you know, he has to do all these exercises and all this stuff. But yeah, so we did that, and we were very lucky to get 16 writers. And one of the things I loved about that is 8 of the 16, it was their first time published.
Yeah.
And now they've got the bug, and I tell you, it's so great to watch them, because a few of them are like, I want to write. And then when they wrote and got published in this book, they were coming and going, oh, what's next? And you kind of go, yes.
Yeah, it's a motivational thing. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, do they go to anyoneworld.com for more information if somebody wants to, say, get published through you guys? Are you guys looking to publish more people, or where are you guys?
Submissions are always open. Okay. It is always open. So, because at the moment we've got Perspectives on there. In October, we launch with Bob, Non-Union Psychic, the Big Book of Bob, Volume 1. It's a hell of a title, but it's a hell of a book. It really is. Nice. So this was written by a friend of mine called Lance Lucero, a wonderful creator. You know, if I can introduce you guys, you know, I'd love to. Yeah, and that was our first graphic novel that we did. And then he introduced me to a great guy called Malcolm Wong. And we have just done, this month we've just done Dog Eaters. No, last month, sorry, we did Dog Eaters, which is a manga-inspired book that Malcolm did. Malcolm's based out of Tokyo. And then we've got, in the new year, I think Anyone World is our first 3 months. We've got a novel and 2 more graphic novels.
Amazing.
Of people who have signed up. So yeah, it's awesome. I love it, and it's like, I love watching this for people. It's so much fun. And we get to help them publish their work, and we get to help them put it out there. But on top of that, like, one of the things I love doing, and again, I'm like looking at you guys going, we like to hook them up with like a virtual book tour, basically, because we're all over the world. Everyone's everywhere. So it's like, go and promote your stuff and meet great people and talk to other indies. It's so much fun.
We have several guests, international guests lined up.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love it. I really do. I think it's it's a wonderful community, man.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful work. Like I saw your dog eaters stuff that you've been promoting. That looks amazing. Is that going to be out by the time this airs on the 31st?
It's out now.
It's out now, right? Yeah. Yeah. So definitely people have to check that out for sure. And then you have asapminis.com, obviously, which is your kids book division. You have a book about a dyspraxic superhero based on your son.
That's right.
As well.
He helped on that. Well, that's coming out in the new year. And my son is not stupid because he helped and we created all these powers based on his condition. And then he said to me, he said, "Dad, your name's going on the front of the book." And I was like, "Yeah." And Adam's is, because he actually knows Adam, who's the artist. Like, Adam's been my friend for like 14 years. And I was like, "Yeah." And he went, "Well, what's my name?" And I was like, "Well, it's Alpheus, that's you." And he was like, "Yeah, but I helped." I was like, "Oh, well, I do apologise." So he's now in the book as creative consultant. And you know, when you go,
great.
"You rinse me, you clever little swine." You absolutely
He got
There you go.
But he's going in. So
Step in the right direction.
Beautiful.
Yeah, good boy.
Oh,
man. Loads of stuff. And, it's like, I launched minis for him because he couldn't see some of the stuff we were doing because it was too adult.
Yeah.
And he was so proud of what his dad did. And I just thought, I have to do something that's just for him because he can't see any of this. He's absolutely chuffed. And like I say, some of the things he's asked is like, "I'm getting T-shirts, right?" Jesus Christ.
He wants all of it. He wants all of it.
When am I making personal appearances? Like, Jesus Christ. He's awesome, man. I absolutely adore him.
Oh, man.
He's my hero.
No, that's beautiful, man. I'm glad you're doing all this. And then, so all of these websites, obviously the asapcomicsuk.com, the anyoneworld.com, and the asapminis.com, all of those links for everybody watching will be on the show notes. So you guys just click on those links and check it out. But Paul, we were running out of time. Brother, thank you so much for coming on the show. I know it's late out there. I know it's late, so get some rest. Keep it quiet for the neighbors. I'm sure they're still up listening. But yeah, this will air obviously on the 31st, which is the last day of the year. Happy New Year, my brother. And next year, we definitely got to hook up, maybe do some more things like this.
Please, that'd be great, guys. I'd love it. Thank you very much.
You got it.
Paul, thank you, brother.
Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you. And for you guys, thank you so much.
You got it, buddy.
All right, my friend. Take care.
And you. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that was Paul Hayden, and this was another episode of Catch the Craze. With that said, if you like this episode, give us a thumbs up. Click that link below, subscribe, help us get monetized. And again, if you're an indie creator, you want to be on the show, go to crazycomics.com or icreatestories.com and fill out the form. And if you want to promote your stuff also, more than just getting on the show, you can also sponsor an episode and send us a 30-second commercial. With that said, I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera.
George the Dreamer Medina.
And we are...
It's just easy. It's not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
He described me. He said, I'm the...
What? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze. Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Candy girl.